This is Spanish 1, Family and Community, Exam Prep 57 through 60. I'm going to say each of these sentences in English and then Spanish and then clap. And after the clap, I'd like you to repeat the Spanish sentence with me. You ready? 57. Ask a friend, when do you eat? ¿Cuándo comes tú? ¿Cuándo comes tú? 58. I eat at 12 o'clock. Yo como a las 12. Yo como a las 12. 59. Ask your friend, where does Maria live? ¿Dónde vive Maria? ¿Dónde vive Maria? And 60. Maria lives in Chicago. Maria vive en Chicago. Maria vive en Chicago. All right, let's look at 57. In English we say, when do you eat? In Spanish we say, when eat you? In English we say, where do they live? In Spanish we say, where live they? So this upside down question mark translates do or does. Now, how are we going to remember that cuando is when? Well, you guys, there are several forms of martial arts: Hapkido, Jiu-Jitsu, Karate. I used to take a little Taekwondo, and I want you to listen and repeat. When I do Taekwondo, I look silly. When I do Taekwondo, I look silly. Cuando's when, and when is cuando. Now, notice, the accent mark is over the next to last vowel. Mr. Holt, I thought an accent mark meant don't stress the next to last vowel, stress me. That's true 90% of the time. But here's what I want you to remember. All question words have accents. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Look down here, donde. What is the next to last vowel in donde? Oh, but there's an accent over it because all question words have accents. So anytime you ask a question with who, what, when, where, why, how, the question word's going to have an accent mark over it. And sometimes that accent mark actually goes over the next to last vowel. All right. I eat at 12. Now, in English we say I eat at 12. In Spanish we say I eat at the 12. Spanish people love the word the. In English we say I study math. In Spanish they say I study the math. In English we say it is 4 o'clock. In Spanish we say it is the 4. In English we say I take tests on Tuesdays. In Spanish we say I take tests the Tuesdays. And as you get more advanced, you're going to realize Spanish people stick the word the everywhere, which makes sense. In English we have one word for the. In Spanish they have 4. El, la, los, and las. Now, doce is dozen. Doce is 12. Everybody say dozen. Dozen. Dozen and doce look a lot alike. Let's count together from 11 to 15. Everybody. Once, doce, trece, catorce, quince. Remember, in Spanish, all numbers from 11 to 15 end in se. Now, in English we say, where does Maria live? In Spanish we say, where lives Maria? Again, the upside down question mark translates as do or does. And vivir is to live. Everybody say vivir. Vivir. If somebody's very vivacious, they're full of life. If they're vibrant or they have a lot of vitality, they're full of life. Also, if you pass out and a doctor revives you, it appears that he brought you back to life. So vivir is to live is vivir. And finally, Maria lives in Chicago. Maria vive en Chicago. Now, sometimes they say El Chicago. Frequently, they'll put a word for the in front of cities and states. Not always, but frequently. All right, this has been Spanish 1, Family and Community, Exam Prep 57 through 60.